Hello again, this is Sarah Johnson from Enlightened Earth Hypnosis. I'm going to talk briefly about my background because you should know whoever you work with, where they're coming from and what their motivations are. So I began my career in mental health with a degree in psychology, and after that I eventually earned my master's in first marriage and family therapy, and then I finished it up in school counseling before I became a certified hypnotist. So that is where I started off. I have had extensive work and training, primarily working with children and adolescents as well as adults. So I spent about 3 years working on the child and adolescent psychiatric unit at our local hospital, which is pretty much a crash course in everything mental health related. I also did internships at the Juvenile Detention Center and multiple schools I have worked in as well across this area, in the city, in the suburbs as well. And for the past 10-ish years, I believe, I've been home with my kids, which is what I was doing before I became a hypnotist. It's been a great experience being able to raise them 24/7. And also I've been doing a ton of volunteering in the school district. So I've been able to connect with parents and children all across our district, as well as serving on many committees and different boards. So I really have an idea of what our youth and our parents are going through in this area. So that's a little bit about my background. There's much more, but that's the gist of it. One thing I found across everywhere that I worked, didn't matter if it was in the city, the suburbs, whatever population I was working with, there was a lot of anxiety, depression, anger going on right now. And especially in my job on the psychiatric unit, I found very much that I'm an empathic person. So going through that and seeing really the root causes of why people act the way they do, has given me a great amount of insight into what I can help with in our society. The social and emotional health of our children, our adolescents that will someday be the adults in our society is extremely important to me, as well as all of the adults that have experienced trauma in their past and now have to figure out how to deal with all of that. So that's a little bit about me and my background. So I have a unique perspective being able to work in psychology and in hypnosis and kind of see the difference between the two. Let's talk a little bit about the differences between psychology and hypnosis. In psychology, you're usually, hold on, this is too loud. Sorry about that. In psychology, there's usually an expert. The expert knows what you need and kind of determines it that way. Where in hypnosis, you are the expert. Your body and you are the experts in what you need. And I am just the tool to help you figure that out. A lot of times our bodies tell us things with pain, with depression, but we just don't know how to interpret that. So that's where the hypnotist comes in, to try to help work that part out. And every single time we meet with a client, it's different. So it really depends on what every client needs, of what kind of program we develop. Another thing about psychology and hypnosis that's different, the psychologist works with the conscious mind. Especially in talk therapy, you're kind of trying to talk through what has happened to you and make sense of it that way. And I by no means think that is wrong. And I definitely applaud anyone that can rationalize whatever trauma they have experienced or whatever they're going through. But not everybody can do that. And that's where in hypnosis we deal with the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is the biggest controller of you and what you're doing. To give an example, and we will talk more about the unconscious mind later, but a quick example would be somebody that is interested in weight loss. They might be able to get consciously do all the right things, eat the right foods, exercise, do everything that they're supposed to be doing to lose that weight. And they might get down to a certain level and not be able to pass by it. And that is where your unconscious mind comes in. There is a block there. And you might not know what that block is, but that's where hypnosis comes in, is to try to get through that block. So that is the biggest difference between working in the psychology field next to the hypnosis field, is dealing with the conscious mind versus the unconscious mind. And if you have any more interest in that, we can talk about that later, and I'm sure there's tons of information online as well. Another thing about psychology is you kind of, in your talk therapy sessions, have to deal with every detail of what happened if there's a trauma situation. You don't have to, but that's usually, you go through the details. In hypnosis, we don't have to know all the details of what happened, just the main idea of where you would like to see growth or change, and then we work from there. So it's a very positive approach. It's very forward-thinking of what you want to be, opposed to what has happened to you. And same thing with psychology. You have probably a lot of sessions to be able to fully uncover the base of whatever you are experiencing, where in hypnosis, because we do talk to the unconscious mind directly, there's fewer sessions. So that's a little bit of a difference. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. And then we'll go through a little bit more from video to video. So thank you so much. And apparently I should be asking if you can please like and share and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much.